are for your consideration 5.
Yes. You know how we were like, hey, 4s don't have a good thing, 5s it gets even worse.
Yes.
Because that's when we get embarrassed and we reboot it, and then everyone gets pissed off because it's like, the reboot, year it released, Tomb Raider, God of War.
Afterlife.
Afterlife?
Ghostbusters Afterlife?
Does Ghostbusters even exist after the second movie? I've not watched the cartoon. I assume it's bad, but people keep telling me it exists, and I think that must mean it's okay? Whatever. You know what did keep running with its numbering for a very long time?
Well, Mega Man!
Mega Man! Got all the way up to 8 before going onto the shelf.
It has like 11 now.
It is up to 11. And mainly, oh my. Sometimes you gotta grasp the low-hanging fruit. My God, Mega Man. What? I thought it would be easy to pull apart, but because it's been done to death, but like, this is... My God.
First off, he has a gun.
He has a gun. Now, okay, so I can defend the gun thing. And he does have guns on other ones, because it's like, okay, the concept of an arm cannon, that didn't quite take off at that point. Can you think of many other arm cannoned characters prior to Mega Man and Samus?
No.
I mean, with Samus, it's obvious that it's like an arm cannon. Oh, I guess Cobra existed. And Japan knows Cobra. But, actually, the American artist wouldn't know Cobra because the Sega CD didn't tell him that Cobra existed yet. But, like, why even yellow? I don't remember. Does he have a yellow power-up? A blue and yellow... something?
I think so in the other games. Not sure about this one.
Because I know specifically they built Mega Man to be blue because the NES's color palette was very heavy on blue, which is why you see a lot of games that are blue and brown and purple, because those are what the NES's color palette favored. And that's why, hey, Castlevania and Mega Man looked good because they had the most colors to work with, because they were blue and brown. But like this feels like it was roughly composed by like a kid and then handed off to an adult to add detail. Because none of this scaling and perspective works. Like, look at this enormous tree.
Yeah, that's huge.
And it's planted in the bridge.
Makes zero sense.
And then there's giant explosions far off, obliterating that entire city behind Dr. Wily's castle. But at least you can tell what that's supposed to be, even though it doesn't have a big dumb skull on it. Which you would think they would do, because I'm pretty sure Mega Man did that as a He-Man reference. The ground just has giant gold nuggets. They aren't like technology nuggets, I don't think.
They might be those things the hard hat.
They might be Metars. They might be. Oh God, like there's a reason this is the go-to, right? And this is why we didn't want to do it like right away, because it's like, it is so obvious. And that's, let alone the framing inside the framing inside the framing. Like, this is similar to that Castlevania thing, where it's like, just... Why wasn't this the whole thing? Why do we need this weird technology grid, aside from to scream, hey, do you remember the 80s, 1980s that you live in now? My God. I'm just...
Probably because he's a robot.
Because he's a robot, and robots have grids. I don't know. I don't think the artist knew he was a robot, because if he knew that Mega Man was a robot, then he would maybe think there's a chance that his arm is a cannon and he wouldn't need to hold a gun. But I will give credit anytime I see it. Mega Man, left-handed video game character. Those are rare. They always stick out in my mind.
Like Link.
And Sheva and the other half of the Resident Evil 6 cast. Guess Capcom loves left-handed people. Alright, why'd you pick this?
Okay, so for the OST...
It's quite good, actually.
So for the OST of this game, I saw a version of it that was way less washed out. Like, Rulu's hair blended in more of Shezo's coat thing or whatever.
Yeah, because I think this was a bad scam, because a lot of the coloring is really soft, and it kind of blends into each other. Like Carby ascending into heaven, I think. Is that what's going on with Carbuncle here? Or is she wearing like a wedding veil? What's going on with this?
I don't know.
Aside from they wanted a line of action to make a triangle between Arl's arm and Carbuncle. And who's that supposed to be?
Shezo?
He looks like he's drawn by Amano, and that's kind of awesome. He genuinely looks like an old Final Fantasy character. Okay, what's the deal with this Minotaur? I've never seen...
That's Minotauros. That's a... Rulu's, retainer?
I did not know that there were Minotaurs in... I guess technically this would be Mato, not Puyo.
But Minotaurs has appeared in Puyo before.
What a bizarre franchise. Puyo is so weird because it began as like a weird fantasy thing, and then they were like, who cares? And then they just started ramming everything together. Puzzle games are complicated.
Yes.
But this is actually, I actually do like this. I still don't know why you picked it, but you were adamant about it. You've been trying to jam this into 3 straight videos, so...
Yes. Dang it, I wanted to talk about how that game was the origin of decapitating Shezo. Well, simply the PC-98
You say that a lot.
Yeah.
That's your only piece of lore that you love.
Yeah.
That's your Chibi Moon with the unicorn lore. Okay. What the hell is this?
A book.
A book with a cover drawn by someone less talented than you. Sophia can actually draw better than this. And
Yes.
She's 12.
Yeah.
I can draw as good as this, and I'm too goddamn old. I feel, you know, it's like, oh hey, you start to fall apart when you turn 30, and I'm like, I'm 28 and I'm starting to fall apart. But I am rebounding, so yay. Anyway, so you tried to explain to me that this United States general became the Prime Minister of England. What?
I have no idea how that happened either.
Okay, so this bugs me. She's wearing a 3-piece coat that still somehow has boob pockets because the artist doesn't know how boobs work. And she has buttons but no pockets because I think he just wanted to put nipples on her.
Nordenbuten, you horny bastard.
What is... So didn't you say that the author also drew the cover?
Yeah.
4 times?
Basically, yeah.
And this is the best one? So there was another one she showed me that is like significantly worse and not this. And there are 2 other versions that are this same cover but drawn worse, and it got better over time. But then the other one is just like a collage where it just looks like the dude just glued stuff onto the book. And we couldn't find a higher quality picture of it, and that makes me sad. Fortunately, they're all bad. What are these squares in the background?
Shooting ranges?
Okay, that makes sense.
I'm surprised you're not pointing out the army people.
Yeah, and this guy's broken leg. And this guy's broken leg. The author doesn't know how to draw people prone. Or hands.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, that's a yikes.
Just hire someone. Just sometimes just hire an author or an
Illustrator.
artist. Yeah. You don't have to do everything by yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, this one. Okay. You know how people like to make My Grandma Doesn't Know Smash Bros. Characters? Let's do My Sister Doesn't Know 80s manga characters, but it's okay, I don't either. What's your backstory for this man?
Random Japanese man.
What do you think his story is?
He joins a tournament, probably.
Probably joins a tournament. Everyone knows this guy.
It's fucking Goku.
It's Goku. What's going on with this guy?
He's from the future.
You think he's from the future?
Yes.
You know, we don't get any comments on these videos because no one actually watches them. I genuinely hope to get like one guy who's like, alright, let's go. Here's everyone here and explains everything to me. I love this type of group picture, especially when I don't know most of the cast. And I'm like, what's the story here? Alright, this guy.
That's Lloyd Irving's cousin.
Why is he Lloyd Irving's cousin?
I don't know.
He looks like a soccer player. He doesn't look like a fantasy man.
I know.
He's that guy that Captain Tsubasa's gonna be. Speaking of, yo, hey, how you doing? What do you think this girl is?
We already agree that she's someone's hot mom.
We were like talking, it's like, no, that is someone's mom. She's letting off mom energies. I hope it's a manga about a mom just being annoyed and just like yelling at her kids. It's the sweater, that's what it is. This dude, what do you think this dude is?
Racing.
You think he's a racing guy? You know what? I can see that, but I look at this guy and I can't help but thinking he's the template for that one profile picture thing that people make a bunch of. You ever seen that one? Where it's just edits of the same one and it's just like a person throwing up the V. Yeah, I don't know. He has magnificent 70s hair though. So I think this was a manga near the end of its run when this game came out. Alright, what's the deal with her?
We agreed that she was a reporter or whatever.
Why you gotta keep saying we agreed with? We talked about it off screen. I want your thought on this woman.
She came here to investigate how the heck did you get here and why there's like people from like the frickin' 1800s.
Yeah, cause I'm like, I looked at her and I'm like, is that just Japanese April O'Neil? She's just giving off journalist energy. I don't know why. This guy.
He does baseball.
You think he's a baseball? I kind of think he's tennis because that doesn't quite look like a baseball thing. And why would they have two baseballmen?
I don't know.
I don't know. It's hard to tell.
Japan's
I feel
really
he's a sport. Yes. Seiya. You know, if we didn't know Saint Seiya, what would we think? We would think Space Punch Man, which is correct because Seiya is in fact Space Punch Man.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think she is?
Something to do with Ranma in one half? Or am I thinking of some different anime?
She does look like a character from Ranma. She also kind of looks like a character from Urusei Yatsura.
Probably because we're made by the same person or something.
Were they? I thought that was Inuyasha. Oh, whatever. I don't know. She seems sad. I hope you go through all this action stuff and you just meet her and she's sad, but then she has like the most randomly powerful super attack in the game.
I thought this was a JRPG.
This is a JRPG. Well, I guess there weren't supers at this point. Not in 1988. The limit break wasn't invented until 1994. Kaniku, man. You know, I think we would just know, yeah, that's a wrestler, even though he's got a weird head.
Yeah.
Kenshiro. See, the problem is, hey, what do you think this guy is? I think he's Japanese Mad Max. Yeah, he is. But he's also Punch Jesus. Also, that's not a great drawing of Kenshiro. Watch as it turns out it's not Kenshiro. And Kenshiro's not on the box, even though I'm pretty sure Fist of the North Star was more popular than Dragon Ball at this point. Maybe. 88? No, I think Dragon Ball might have overtaken it, but it feels weird seeing Goku kind of pressed to the background. Like, I mean, I guess everything kind of frames the Shonen Jump logo being the 20th Century Fox logo for some reason. Alright. What do you think the deal is with her?
She's guilty.
You think she's guilty? Yeah, I think she's guilty and laughing about it in your face.
Yeah.
Like, I think she just crashed a car and is like, I'm a girl and cute. There's Arale. She's the second robot we've had in this video.
Wait, Arale's a robot?
She's a robot.
Huh.
How else do you think she's stronger than Vegeta?
She just built different.
She's from a gag manga. I'm from an action manga. I need to think like a gag manga character. Look, a UFO! Oh, I love Dragon Ball. It's so stupid. Alright, what's this man?
Probably some Lux or a wrestling man.
I think he's definitely a wrestler. Man, the thought of a manga about a rock star just sounds like the worst idea ever. It's like you can't put music in a comic book. Looking at you, Stan Lee and Nightcat. He retired after he created that character, probably in shame of having the terrible idea of making him singer be the main character. Gotta clear my voice. I know what this man is from, but he's not the character everyone thinks of. He's from...
You have to lower that a lot!
I will have to lower that a lot, but you need to stream that as hard as possible. To go shoot up, whatever. It's basically just Cromartie High before Cromartie High. I do know this man. Who is this man taking his shirt off?
He's about to beat your ass.
I think he's in a biker gang.
Probably.
How is there not a manga of a biker gang? There's gotta be one, right?
Probably.
Okay. Who's this guy?
Baker Man.
You think yeah, I think we both think he's a baker. Or he could be the milkman, and this is his romantic adventures. Shut up, phone! Unprofessional. I'm going to mute that. Yeah, okay, whatever. Going on. And Captain Tsubasa. Some type of punch man, I believe his name is Akane. I feel we can just guess that. So we're debating this. We're pretty sure this is Jonathan Joestar, right?
Yeah. But
because it's
it could be a possibility that it could be Joseph.
It's hard to tell because old JoJo, both Jonathan and Joseph looked like identical, and then over time Araki, I guess, decided to make young Joseph have bigger hair. But Jonathan kind of has the bigger hair. I don't know. It's definitely a Joey Jojo Joe Shabadoo. And there's a caveman. He seems to be a happy caveman. This guy is one that confused us when we were debating. Because he looks like he's talking into a microphone, but he's like wearing a gi or like a robe. So I think he's a tournament announcer, and I like the idea of there being a manga about a tournament announcer where he's looking at all these people doing hype battles and he's just loving it, but he's the main character for some reason. Can we get a Dragon Ball spin-off of that guy? What do you think her deal is?
She's probably some sort of shrine maiden.
She's got fish eyes. I don't trust her. She doesn't look like she can focus her eyes. She might be very stupid, and that might be the manga.
So she's basically just a combination between Rei and Usagi.
No, she's just every anime character. It's just, what's their trait? They're stupid. That's their trait. And there's a cowboy.
Yeehaw.
I can't imagine there's anything else about him other than that he's a cowboy. Watching it turns out that manga is like set in space or something.
And I want to jokingly believe that that's a younger version of Clay from Pokemon.
With his gun, ready to go shoot all those toros. So there's a robot. I am shocked that there's only one robot on this cover.
Yeah.
But I guess robots are actually more of an anime thing than a manga thing, now that I think about it. I mean, I guess, like, you got all the Go Nagai stuff, but it's like, no, Gundam was an anime, it wasn't a manga. And a lot of the Tatsunoko stuff wasn't really manga. I think that most of that was anime anyway. Here's Guy, man, with his popped collar. I can't imagine what this guy's story is. He's probably just a guy. And this man with his magnificent hair. You know, I hope his story is about how his hair is perpetually pointing sideways. Because I can't think of, like... I mean... He's got, like, this collar thing, so maybe he's a karate man. Which wouldn't surprise me, since most of them are karate men. Alright, another guy.
Who looks very guilty.
He appears to be the serious student.
Nah, more like a guilty student.
Yeah, probably. I'm not sure, but I still feel like that's probably that dog that fights those bears. There might be some other dog manga, but that dog looks vicious. What do you think the deal is with this guy?
He's prototype Crayon Shin-chan.
I think he's prototype Crayon Shin-chan. He just looks angry. That might be his whole thing. I'm still not positive, but I think that's Ryo from City Hunter. I'm just gonna pretend it is, and this is a rare instant of him not being supremely horny. That's probably why he's boxed off by men, because if he was allowed to be over by the women, he'd be all over them, and it would be like, oh no. He's like a more obnoxious Lupin with less charm. Alright, what do you think this guy is?
Some dad.
Some dad, or like a mechanic.
Yeah.
I like the idea of there being a manga about a dad that just beats up all the kids. Like, not his kids, and his kids are, like, kinda normal, but, like, anytime they deal with something, his kids just get rocked, and he just happens to be around for some reason. And then he fixes a bicycle. That's the look of a man that fixes bicycles. And a derpy baby. It's bonk. This video is already, like, going to be the longest.
Yeah.
From this one thing alone. So let's see if we can... I feel like we were just, like, stalling out on the Mega Man one because it was so bad. Yeah, this one! I probably shouldn't put multiple of these big group ones. What do you know about Parodius?
Nothing.
So it's fucking weird. Yeah. Parodius, the spin-off of Gradius. Who's that? You know who that is.
That's a Twin Bee.
That's Twin Bee. There's Vic Viper, and there's a whole bunch of weird shit.
I think that black-haired girl in Rain might be Reimu Hakurei, but probably not.
What's that again?
Toho?
No. This is well before Toho was a thing. Oh, 94? No, but it wouldn't be Toho, because that was, like, a weird independent thing. This penguin looks familiar, though. It might just be because he looks like the Club Penguin, which I know he isn't. He is Konami. But look at this charming pig. I feel like this pig should have his own game. If this pig has its own game, I'll be very happy.
I think this might be a magical pig.
Magical pig from what?
There was some anime called Magical Pig.
Konami did make their own anime, but only 2 of them. One of them, the Gradius anime. Who'd have thunk? Wait, is that Mechagodzilla? No, it just looks like it. I kind of love this. It's got a nice line of action up to the title from everyone in the group shot, and then it sprays out. This is great. I love this. If I was in 1994 and didn't hate shmups, and I was in Japan, I'd totally look at this, because wow. Okay, so there's lore here. We were going to put State of Emergency in here, because I have the story to tell. And apparently Scott the Woz has the exact same story of Boy, every time I go to a used game store, I see State of Emergency, because I feel like they printed like 5 million copies of it and sold like 500,000. There are so many copies of State of Emergency, and as a joke, we went to our local game store to go see if we could grab it. Instead, we saw this.
We didn't buy it.
We didn't buy it because I don't own a Sega CD. She's just walking down the aisle and she turns her head and she's like, Bill Clinton! This is a 90s ass box art. Like if you told me what would a Trivial Pursuit game on Sega CD's box art look like, I would think this is right. It's pictures of things we would be talking about. It's Clinton, it's Madonna, it's koalas. Everyone is here. I don't know who this tennis guy is. I don't know who was big in '94. He looks like Rafa Nadal, but I know he wasn't active then, because I don't know anything about tennis. But it does look like Rafael Nadal. Look at this magenta line. Crooked magenta lines is the 90s in my mind.
Fair enough.
I feel like we need a checkerboard pattern somewhere, just randomly. It's like, let's put bright yellow and bright pink, because that's the early 90s.
Yeah.
Also, could they not find a picture of Madonna with her eyes open?
Are you okay?
Oh, this is a box art. This is a box art for our consideration.
Yep. Also, when we were at that game store, I happened to find a copy of the Devil Survivor manga.
Yeah, it wasn't just a used game store. It had other used stuff, but that's what I use it for. And so she's been reading the Devil Survivor manga. How is it? What's your review? Reading half of Volume 1.
It's good.
Yes. Official Sophie review. You know, if someone told me, like, look, I don't know what any of Elton John's album covers looked like prior to seeing this. If you told me what it was, I'd be like, it would be a crazy shit full of nonsense. And this is what it is. Although I'm disappointed that he's not wearing the glasses with his name on it, because... Wait, is he emerging from a gachapon? Can I just put a quarter in and hopefully get an Elton John out of a pod? I hope there was some concert where he emerged like that. That would be great. I think the key thing I've learned from making this episode is don't do too many of these, like, overstuffed things. Because I'm looking at this and I'm like, this is sensory overload. There's an owl. There's a stork that is a harp. There's a naked woman. Don't pay attention to that, YouTube. She's being eaten by a plant. I think she's also is the plant. And she's got a bird head and she's getting attacked by tentacles. That there is a record that is a turkey, I think. Someone else is in a gachapon. That man's hat is a castle. Whoa, there is just... I just love crazy shit like this. And they're in space. Drugs.
Yes.
This is drugs.
Yes.
This album cover's great.
There ain't no horse in that movie.
Yeah, apparently there's not even a horse in the movie. They just put a horse on the cover and this gigantic hedgehog. Because notice, the hedgehog's the size of the horse's head.
Yeah.
If you've ever seen a hedgehog, no, it's the size of its snout. So that hedgehog is roughly 6 times too big, 7 times too big.
I don't know, I'm not good at math.
And this girl, I think, is too small. Maybe?
I don't know.
Or is she also too big?
She looks decent enough.
I don't know. I wish we could have found a higher resolution of this, but like, who cares about this movie? I discovered this movie because another YouTuber I watched made a video about it, and I was like, what the fuck is this? Apparently the plot is a fairy just granted some kid's wish to let animals talk, and apparently animals have nothing of value to say. But I'm like, You know what? Bad, like, mid to late 2000s DVD box art, I think. There's not a lot to talk about, but you can just look at it and get a quick chuckle. I think maybe we should drop this subgenre, because there's a lot of these where you're just like, what? Could you have photoshopped this better, please?
Yeah, but at least this is photoshopped better than...
Better than that book where that guy's hair was flying off all over the place.
Yeah.
Because I'm also looking at this. You have these ghosts up in heaven here. And it looks like she's getting hit in the face with a fan, and he's squinting at getting hit in the face with the fan. Oh my god, this motherfucker.
You despise your man.
I don't think there's a mascot I hate more than Hugo. It's like, Hugo is the worst designed mascot of all time. It's like, how did this guy... He had, like, his own cartoon. He had multiple video games. There's, like, well, no charm here. This is why we don't let Europe design mascots. Thanks, Denmark, I think?
We don't allow...
Hugo's from Denmark? Oh! Europe, stop trying to be cute. Be fancy.
Yes.
Europe is for Art Nouveau, not for pop art.
Yeah, America's for that.
And also, I noticed, this minecart he's riding on, it's got crooked wheels, they're canted inwards, and also no rail. So he is flying off, he is going to die.
Which is good for you.
Which would be good, but he probably won't because he's a cartoon and made of indestructible plastic. Ah, God, I hate Hugo. I hate him. He's the worst mascot. He doesn't even... He has 3 fingers and 3 toes, and apparently his family gets kidnapped all the time.
Good.
Hate him. Ugh.
They all look guilty.
Yeah, I thought this episode would last long, but fortunately we blitzed through these last 2 to talk about this. Hey, how do you know this was a PlayStation 1 port of a Super Nintendo game? Well, we gotta add 3D for some reason. And it looks so plasticky.
And the characters look all guilty.
They all look guilty.
Especially the fool.
See, we're also looking at this, and they don't really look like the Magical Drop characters.
Except for him. And maybe that's supposed... Maybe that orange hair girl's
Like,
supposed to be High
I think
Maybe
she's...
supposed to be Justice? Maybe High Priestess? Probably Justice, though.
Yeah, because, like, I've never seen... Dot Hack Man over here. This is prototype Dot Hack Man. I don't know anything about Dot. It's like they all look guilty, and he's loving that he's guilty. He knows that he's caught, but he's ooh-ooing for some reason.
Moino!
Is this like the only time you've ever seen a 3D ooh-ooh?
I think so.
I don't think I have ever seen another 3D ooh-ooh in my life. They don't have pupils, they just have giant irises. And it's like they're trying to use the reflection to simulate that? Oh.
Like, I could probably make the models better. Probably not the background, but definitely the models. I can make that way better.
Well, yeah, because Blender's easy to operate. They had to build these from scratch. They aren't, like, the worst models, except these, like... Oh... soulless eyes. And so the weird thing is, we were looking at all the other Magical Drop PlayStation box arts, and they all are normal. They're all 2D. They all look like Magical Drop. This is like, hey, for the Saturn and the PlayStation, we're just gonna put 3D on because we need a money, because no one's buying Magical Drop. Even now, no one's buying Magical Drop.
Go play Magical Drop 6.
Don't play Magical Drop 6. It's really hard.
Yeah. My stats do go on it.
And then this guy's creepy face. Wait, does he... Yeah, they didn't even model the eyes. Because relative, or the nose for that matter. Because look at how short the top of his head is. It's like there is no nose or eyes on this man. He's just a jaw and lips.
Yeah, it has the jaw, it has the Habsburg's jaw, the crimson chin.
It does have the Habsburg lip and the crimson. No, it's not quite the crimson chin, but it is like double a cartoon Jay Leno. It's still ridiculous. Actually, it's about a Chad with a cleft. He's probably a Chad because he's a knight, but
the real question is, who the heck's the purple-haired girl supposed to be? It can't be Hype. It can't be Empress because she wasn't in this game. She was introduced in 2.
Someone banished from the magical drop lore?
No, like all the characters that appeared in Magic Drop 1 did appear in other games.
Wait, they didn't? Or they did?
Yeah, they all appeared in other games. But yeah, for some reason in the past 2 games, they haven't brought back High Priestess? What the fuck?
She's a magical drop fan. I've just played 2 and 6.
Yeah, same.
But she's also the puzzle fiend. Alright, that's enough. Go home.
I found out the mystery of the druids. It was cannibalism.
But we still don't know the mystery of the killing hall.
Yep.
So guilty.